Hello, seniors. Welcome to CNS Webinar 8, Weighing Your Admissions Decisions. Our objective today is that seniors will be able to choose the best fit next step for them. Many of you have already done great work preparing for your oral defenses and making your CNS decisions. For some of us, we're still waiting for some notices from colleges or different CNS options. Today, we're going to go over the different factors you might want to consider to make the best choice for you. So first, let's put it all on the table. How are you feeling right now? There's a lot going on. Some of us are super excited about graduation. Some of us are still waiting to hear back. And at the end of the day, cost and money is on a lot of our minds because these CNS options do have a cost to them. And you might be thinking, this is fine. Everything's fine. And we want you to know that your mentors are here for you. Us as the CNS team, we're here for you. There are people in your personal advisory board that have your back during this time and want to support you to make the best decision for you. With that in mind, we want to make sure you're supported in navigating the different types of decisions that you're receiving. And be sure to reach out to your personal advisory board if you have questions about how to navigate these. Often when we think of decisions, we think of just accepted or denied. There's also conditional, which means there are certain conditions you have to meet in order to maintain your admission. Sometimes that can look like your grades and you must be a certain GPA average, or you have to take summer classes or additional tests. Also, there's deferred. If you applied early action or early decision, this might mean that your application was moved from that round into the priority or regular round and still being considered. It also might mean that the college wants more information about you before making a decision. Maybe letters of recommendation, test scores, more information about your senior year courses or grades. And then there's the waitlist. That means the college has actually reviewed your application completely and will accept you only if enough people turn down their offers of acceptance. If you are put on a wait list, here are some recommendations about what to do. First, many colleges have a process where you must accept the wait list by the college's deadline. It's not enough just to receive the waitlist offer. You must log into your college portal and be put on the waitlist. So make sure you're following all notifications and to-dos from your colleges to make sure that you're getting onto that waitlist. Secondly, we recommend that you submit an intent to enroll by May 1st to another campus. We all applied to different reach, target, and safety options, and this is where that strategy really comes in. We want to make sure that you have a spot at a concrete next step, even when you're still waiting for your waitlist. And then lastly, you want to be in contact with the admissions office to just ask if there's anything else you can provide for the review team to learn more about you, so they know your story as they're considering their waitlist decisions. The next step you'll need to navigate after you've reviewed your variety of admissions decisions is intent to enroll. What that means is this is where you're deciding to go. It's where you put your name in, your deposit down to reserve your spot. The national enrollment deadline is May 1st. There is often a deposit fee associated with this process. You can always reach out to your college directly about how to waive those fees or have them covered by your financial aid. What happens if you don't meet that May 1st deadline or pay your fees on time? The school will not accept you. You'll not have a place, unfortunately, and you'll have to look at other CNS options. This is a time to really show up with the core characteristic of responsibility and make sure you're planning to meet that deadline because this is a hard deadline for your colleges. How do you do this? You'll need to log into your college portal in order to accept your admission and submit your intent to enroll. The last step in this process that's really helpful is updating Overgrad. We use Overgrad so we can celebrate your successes and hear where you've been admitted and learn from what you've done for future students. It's important to update Overgrad with all of your acceptances and where you're going to enroll because we use Overgrad data to send where your final transcript goes at the end of the year. I'll just look to see your progress at the end of senior year. And that's the way we know where to send your transcript. If you do not record your admission status in Overgrad or where you're going to enroll, then your admission may be in jeopardy of not being completed without your final transcript. Secondly, what you record in Overgrad impacts future students. Overgrad has features where students can see where alumni have been admitted and compare their academics and qualifications, predict their admissions chances. Taking time to put this in can help many graduating classes in the future. Lastly, we're really excited for you. Recording your decisions in Overgrad allows us to celebrate you and your accomplishments. So to do this, you'll just need to go to Applications, View Applications, Click the 3 dots next to the college's name and update your status from applied to the appropriate decision, those being accepted, denied, withdrawn, enrolled, and continue to do that ongoing throughout the spring. Those are the procedures you'll need to follow in terms of weighing your decision. Now let's talk about you. And Mrs. Rosas is going to give some tips on things to think through as you weigh your options.
Weighing your decision can be stressful. Sometimes it feels like you don't know where to start. As you have been doing your oral defenses, maybe you already did it, maybe you're preparing for it still, remember to check the best fit checklist to start thinking through some of those questions you should be asking yourself and reflecting on. During your oral defense, you should consider questions like, can you see yourself at this next step for 4 years? Will you miss your family? Is this the right fit for you academically? Will you have access to all the experiences you want to pursue? Can you afford it? Is your support network on board with your decision? And will you have a support network when you get to college? You can always come back to the slide and start looking at these questions in more depth and start reflecting. And again, use the checklist, the best fit checklist for yourself as you're thinking through these. And of course, the biggest factor when students are making decisions is cost. One of the key considerations to remember when you're weighing your decision is cost. At the end of the day, college or your next step could be expensive. And we even heard from a few alumni that financial literacy skills are a top request about how Summit can prepare them for life after high school. So if you want to read along this quote that we have from an alumni, paying off student loans is a really big crutch that a lot of people in my class are struggling with. It's a really tough thing, especially going to schools and there are limited scholarships, and a lot of the occupations now do require higher levels of education, which in turn requires more cost. So here's what we want you to keep in mind about cost. Our recommendation is that you choose a CNS where you will have a maximum indebtedness of $30,000. No more than that. We don't recommend no more than that. On a 10-year repayment plan for loans, that looks like about $250 per month, plus your interest. In our last webinars, we went over how this is a reasonable amount of debt to take on when you're entering the workforce with a BA degree, with a bachelor's degree. So make sure you're reviewing your financial aid packages and calculating how much debt you would take out over the course of your degree. So not just the first year, but also the full time up to degree, and that's sometimes 4 to 6 years. As you decide which pathway to pursue, make sure you're getting a quality return on the investment you're making for your next step. Also remember that there are ways to save money along the way. We've talked about indirect cost, which are flexible areas where you can save money. Examples like driving to school, taking the bus, walking, housing, maybe you live on campus, off campus. So again, there's wiggle room. The cost of attendance calculated on your financial aid offer is an estimated amount. You have the power to make choices around indirect costs that best fit your financial situation. So maybe taking 4 classes instead of 5. Being a full-time student, sometimes the minimum is 3 classes. So ultimately, you need to talk with your family about cost, although our recommendation is that you take on no more than $30,000. Keep that number in mind. That number may still be too high depending on your situation, so just make sure you clarify, what can we pay? What is too much? Do we need to appeal any of these offers and request additional aid? Should we get a summer job and start saving for college? Maybe that gap, you can make it up in summer. Many of you have started discussing these questions with your family. Maybe you already had your oral defense. And we want to hold up that they can be hard. And we still encourage you to continue the conversation so you can decide on the right cost for you. That was a lot of talking to you. Let's hear from an alumni who actually went through this experience. Many of you are considering alternative options to save on costs, such as community college. So we're going to hear from one alum about his experience going to community college. And as you watch, listen and think. What is this alum's advice? How might you apply this advice as you are weighing your own options?
Hello, my name is Henry. I'm an Everest alumni and I graduated in 2017. Today I'll be talking about my experience in community college. To begin with, I actually didn't start at a community college. I started at a UC. It wasn't until my second year that I transferred back to a community college back home. The reason for that was that it just got too expensive at a UC, so I had to find something more affordable for me and my family. What I will say is that if you're not sure what you want to pursue career-wise, UC could be a good beginning for you because you'll be exposed to all the different career paths you could take. You figure out what your passions are, and that could be a great start to figuring that out. Another thing is there's a lot of flexibility. You get to create your own school schedule, whether that be you going in the morning or you going in the afternoon, and set that around your job. Another thing is there's a lot of programs that could help you, whether that be paying off your books, tutoring, getting help with financial aid, scholarships that they offer as well. There's a lot of programs that could help you and support your success. Another thing I'll say is that I don't think it's a bad thing to start at a community college. It's a great way to save money. But it's not a bad thing because it's not where you start, it's kind of where you end. So always focus on where you want to end up at and how you'll get there. My advice would be that if you're leaning towards a community college, is to make a plan first. Speak to a counselor what you want to achieve, set up goals, and it'll help you reach your career path that you're trying to pursue. And I wish you guys the best of luck.
Like Henry said, starting at a community college is not a bad thing. It's all about where you'll end up, making long-term plans. With any decision, there are some benefits and also some things to consider. So let's review some of those benefits and drawbacks of choosing community college. So the benefits, there's low cost of attendance. It can reduce the amount of overall student loan debt. So cost is a huge thing here. Maybe you want to live at home to save money and help support your family. Maybe you want to take some more time to work on your foundational academic skills. Maybe you don't feel ready to take on that for your college course load. And honestly, not all careers require a four-year degree. For example, if you want to pursue auto mechanic, a nurse, be a chef, go into cosmetology, or even law enforcement, firefighter, those things don't require a four-year degree to be successful in those roles. As we look at benefits, we also have things to consider. Transferring and completing rates are very low at a community college. 42.2% of students who started at community college completed a degree within 6 years. It lacks the college experience. You are not living on campus. You don't have the opportunity to explore all of the resources that are available on campus if you are living there. There is additional time to degree. On average, students take about a year and a half to 2 years longer than their peers who did start at a 4-year. And there's lower earning potential than a bachelor's degree. An adult with an associate's degree, which is the one that you receive from a community college, earns an average of $725,000 less over their lifetime than someone with a bachelor's degree. So we encourage you to keep talking to those who you trust in your life, like your family, your mentor, your friends, about if community college would be the best fit for you, and keep all of these things at the forefront of your decision making. So Summit's vision for you, we've talked about it. You probably have this memorized. We're dedicated to ensuring that you all can lead a fulfilled life, one with purposeful work. Ultimately, everyone at Summit wants the world for you, and we're so proud of what you've accomplished. You've probably heard your school faculty talk about the Summit mission before, but we really want to ground your CNS decision-making in our vision. This statement is the backbone of what we want you to keep in mind. We want where you head after high school to lead you on the road to a fulfilled life. You've worked so hard over your years here at Summit, and you've earned every option in front of you. So your mentors, the faculty, and family all want you to make a decision that can lead you to work that you define as purposeful, and so you can find financial security in a place that you feel connected and a sense of belonging. And we're so excited to hear about where you decide to go. So now let's talk with ourselves and our mentor group. Let's debrief. How do you feel about your CNS options? What factors are most important to you in your CNS decision? What's most important to your personal advisory board? Are those different or the same? If you've already done your oral defense, what advice do you have for your fellow mentees? And what questions overall do you still have? Welcome back. So for the remainder of your SDL block, you have a few action items. These are all going to depend on where you are in the admission weighing your decision process. So first things first, if you haven't done your oral defense, let's complete that and do that. Check your portals regularly. If there are things that the college still needs from you, make sure to send that over. Submit your financial aid application if you still need to do that, and accept your financial aid offer if you have already made your decision to enroll. Submit your intent to enroll. Usually that's by May 1st. That's the national deadline. Discuss with your family, your mentor, your friends first before you hit that button. And update Overgrad with all of your admissions decisions. Good luck.